Joe, can you talk in your mic?
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Okay. Okay, good.
All right, so can I?
I'm ready when you are, Benjamin.
Okay, we got it.
Okay. Okay, so I will call the meeting back to order. We took a recess a little longer than what we wanted to. We had some technical difficulties with YouTube. We believe we are now back and up and running. There was no part of the meeting that was missed. We are at our consent agenda tonight. Mr. Clark, will you please present the gift report?
Yeah, we received 8 gifts this month. Waukesha South received 7 gifts. 6 of these were for the high school football program. $500 from Michael K. Phillips, $500 from Andrew and Mary Korinko. Sorry if I mispronounced that. $2,500 from Multiple Listing Services, Inc., $2,000 from Jennifer and John Stillman, $500 from Theryl Wiltz, and $500 from Laura Wiltz. The 7th gift was $2,178 from Waukesha All City to be used for project graduation. And the last gift was Lowell Elementary School received $9,000 from the Waukesha North Junior Boys Basketball to be used towards the new renovations going into the gym.
Wow, that's thank you for the generosity of all those who have given to us. It's spectacular. Appreciate it very much. Your agenda includes various categories for approval. There were no expulsions this month. If any board member wishes to set aside any part of the consent agenda, please indicate so at this time. Okay, seeing none, Ms. Roddy, will you please present the consent agenda for approval?
Yes, Mr. President. Earlier this evening, the Human Resources and Compensations Committee approved 4 resignations, 1 retirement, and 22 new or modified teacher contracts. This information was provided in your packet, and an addendum was placed at your desk. I move that the consent agenda be approved as amended.
Is there a second to that? Second by Mr. Dietz. Discussion? Modifications? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
William Baumgart. Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Sue?
Mr. President, that completes my report.
Thank you, Amanda. Moving on to the superintendent's report, Dr. Siebert.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Como. Very quickly, some breaking news from both Benjamin and an email I just received on our core robotics team. They were awarded just this evening. Hassa Gadapati, who's a junior at Waukesha Engineering Prep, was awarded to the Dean's List, and the team, the Core 2062 robotics team of ours, won the Imagery Award in order of Jack Kamen and the Regional Chairman's Award, which is the most prestigious award given out by First Robotics and generally means that they get to go on to the national championships. So,
National or world?
the first world championships, yes.
Yes.
So very exciting. Thank you, Benjamin. And the only other thing I wanted to do, and I had planned on doing this, was, and I'll do it very quickly, I just wanted to take a moment, and Mr. McCaffrey did it earlier today, to really celebrate the teachers and staff. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, but we could all make such a strong case that that could occur on a daily or every week basis. And I don't know that we could ever truly appreciate what they've been through this year. And the cabinet and I have been out a lot in the schools, and just to see the passion and the dedication and the commitment, not to mention the relationships, it's really impressive. And so teaching is the most noble profession that there is, and I just want to simply recognize them for all of their hard work as we wrap up the school year. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the report, Dr. Siebert. Moving on to our committee work. As you know, we do rotate which committees present first. This month, we have Finance and Facilities first, given by Patrick McCaffrey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 action items and 3 information discussion items on the agenda this evening. The first action item is the approval of Les Paul Cafeteria name change. Theodora Yeoman was an influential journalist and women's rights advocate that lived on what is now the Les Paul Middle School campus. She promoted civic reform in Waukesha, led social reform statewide, and played a national role in the success of the 19th Amendment. Following Board Policy 7250, the Les Paul Site Council has recommended the naming the Les Paul Cafeteria after Ms. Yeoman. The committee approved forwarding this recommendation to the full Board of Education for consideration. Per board policy, naming of facilities require 2 readings, so tonight there will be no action needed on this motion. Is there any questions? No? Okay. My second action item is the approval of the Montessori School of Waukesha contract language regarding fees. The Montessori School of Waukesha has asked to amend contract language regarding allowed student fees that may be charged by them. Current contract language only allows for the $25 technology fee to be charged. The proposed language allows Montessori School of Waukesha to charge up to the amount equal to what families would be charged if attending their neighborhood school district of Waukesha school. The committee approved this contract change, and I so move.
Is there a second to that? Second by Mr. Baumgart. Discussion? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Karen Reinacek. Aye. Amanda Roddy. Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
William Baumgart. Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. They have been an excellent partner of ours for many years. Mr. McCaffrey.
Alrighty, my final action item is the approval of the 339 Arlington vacant house demolition. The committee approved the demolition of the vacant house on the 339 Arlington property and provided the administration the authority to schedule the work and potentially reaching an agreement with the Waukesha Fire Department if both parties see it as a workable training opportunity, and I so move.
Is there a second to that? Second by Mrs. Reincheck. Discussion? Mr. Baumgart?
Just an update, are we still looking at using that property for parking or something, or?
Yeah, that is the intent. However, the city has told us that we need a little bit more property to make it into a parking lot. So, there are some other things that we may be doing with that property until we can,
Because it's our property now to deal with, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it is. Yeah,
We bought it, we got it.
we got it, so now we gotta get rid of the house. We're a little concerned about squatters.
Oh, yeah. Or a fire that's not controlled.
Right.
Darren, we do have some ideas of what to do with that in the meantime. Could you
Yeah,
please go over that?
the goal now is just to get it down to grade and to remove the attraction of it's kind of an in-law suite. It's not really, I don't even know if it's 800 square feet, it's very small. But once it gets to that point, we've had some conversations, nothing formal, about using it as a green space for Les Paul. The ultimate goal, I think we still have that goal, is to provide some additional parking for Les Paul, but in the meantime, use it for maybe some instructional benefit for the school.
Thank you.
Are questions or comments on this? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote of the approval of the 339 Arlington vacant house demolition.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
William Baumgart. Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek. Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0.
Alrighty, my first
Okay.
discussion information item is the monthly budget report. Revenues and expenditures continue to be within budgeted limits for both the general and special education fund. The district is operating in accordance with our approved budget and all other funds as well. Any questions about the budget?
Discussion?
Alrighty, my second information discussion item is the budget development. Administration has developed a plan that will minimize dependence on one-time ESSER funds for the 2021-2022 school year and allow us to finalize the balanced budget. Right sizing of teaching staff to reflect expected enrollment levels and adjusted COVID response staffing is the largest savings item. Our new employee health clinic delivery model and high-cost prescription plan also contribute significantly to cost savings and is allowing us to not increase health plan funding rates.
Discussion on this item?
All right. My third and final information discussion item is the USDA extension of free lunches. We are currently providing free meals for all children under the Summer Food Service Program with waivers provided by the USDA. The USDA has recently announced new waivers for the 2021-2022 school year that would allow us to continue providing these free meals to all students through June 2022, regardless of economic hardship. The committee has asked for follow-up information regarding the financial impact of providing free meals to all or returning to our pre-pandemic lunch model. This item will be agendized in June as an action item.
Questions or discussion on this item?
I have one
Dr.
just
PIACSEK?
quick question. I don't know who could answer. I'm curious if we've had an increase in food waste this year because of unanticipated numbers of students who on any given day might take advantage of the meals.
Darren, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get the mic on. There was additional waste, but it's hard to tell what was food. A lot of it was because we went to pretty much box lunches, so that created so much waste. We do think there was more food waste with the food because with the federal lunch program, you have to give all 5 pieces or 4 pieces. But overall, food services produced a significant amount of additional waste this year. But to say what was food and what was cardboard and plastics, and I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know if this is right or not, but my understanding was that in the past, kids usually, if they participated in hot lunch or school lunches, we would kind of, that number was pretty consistent. It didn't change a lot. And has that been different this year, or has it just been higher?
Well, we've served more because it's been free to everybody, so more kids are taking advantage of it. But you're right, and historically, we could tell pretty much every school how many lunches we were going to serve. If we had we have a breakfast program at just a few schools. It was very predictable, but this year there was more served, but the situation was different.
Just one more follow-up question. I know everybody's tired, but do we pay and get reimbursed, or is the food directly provided under the federal assistance?
Yeah, we contract with Airmark.
Okay.
And they buy and supply the food for us, and then they provide us counts of free, reduced, well, in normal times, free and reduced students, and then normal regular students. And then we file for a reimbursement from the federal government, so it's kind of like a 30-day lag, but it's a reimbursement program.
Thank you.
Anybody else on this topic? Hey, Pat?
Alrighty. Our next meeting will be June 7th in the boardroom. And Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Moving on to teaching and learning, given by Mr. Dietz.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last Teaching and Learning Committee meeting was held on May 4th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. here in the boardroom. 2 action items and 1 discussion information item appear on the agenda for teaching and learning this evening. The first action item is the approval of the Advanced Placement Human Geography textbook. Over the course of the last 3 months, the AP Human Geography team has piloted 3 textbooks in order to make the most informed recommendation for an adoption of a new resource to support their students. The team has considered the following information in its recommendation: alignment of the resource to the AP College Board Human Geography curriculum and standards, alignment of the resource to the School District of Waukesha's vision for social studies, student feedback, staff feedback, readability, and features of the resource and the appropriateness of these features to 9th grade students. Alignment to our instructional model, including the purposeful integration of technology. Based on the analysis of these factors, the team is recommending the adoption of Human Geography for the AP course by Hildebrandt, Kellar, Liu, and Newman. This resource aligns to the core curriculum of the AP Human Geography College Board curriculum, and the information is presented in a way that is accessible to learners. Its resources also align to the instructional model in the School District of Waukesha. On a 5-0 vote, the Teaching and Learning Committee approved the adoption of the Human Geography for AP course for the AP Human Geography course as presented. We request board approval, and I so move.
Is there a second to that? Second by Mr. Baumgart. Discussion? We have spent months in committee on this particular text. Reviewing it. Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia. Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek. Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Kelly Piasek.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Greg?
Second action item is the approval of the integrated Math 1 and 2 course syllabi. With the math department moving into the implementation phase of its new scope and sequence, the specifics about each course are being developed by teacher teams, resulting in new district course syllabi. Integrated Math 1 and Integrated Math 2, as well as Dual Language Integrated Math 1 and Dual Language Integrated Math 2 are complete. Beginning in the 2021-2022 school year, we will be launching Integrated Math 1 at the high school and middle school levels in place of algebra. The following year, we will start Integrated Math 2 in place of geography. During the spring and summer, Integrated Math 1 teachers will continue working together to create common assessments and further develop their expertise of our new curricular resources. On a vote of 5-0, the Teaching and Learning Committee approved the Integrated Math 1 and 2 course syllabi as presented. We request board approval, and I so move.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Roddy. Discussion?
Again, months of work, maybe even a couple years of work
Yes.
have gone into this, and it's just a real solid move.
Other discussion or comments? Dr. Piasek?
I'm sorry, this is unrelated to the topic, just a point of privilege. I'm getting a message that the meeting is not actually being live streamed right now.
It's live on YouTube, and the thing, we're having a small cable issue, but Mark's working on it. He said he's fixing it, but they think the YouTube, they're 100% certain that YouTube is working.
Okay, so we will be able to broadcast it fully tomorrow?
Yes,
And so are we having trouble with Channel 13?
yes. YouTube is working entirely perfectly. I have audio, video, everything's fine.
Okay, and
Channel 13 is...
And that's AT&T that we're in touch with?
Yeah, so Mark's getting in contact with them right now. We think it's on their end because I'm not seeing any error signals.
Okay,
So, as far as I know, there's...
appreciate that.
As far as I know, when I talked to Mark, there's nothing we can... I'm texting with him right now. There's nothing we can do to fix this. And so he said because it's AT&T's issue and because we have
Okay. Well, and actually, we are not required to televise and stream things. There's no statute. However, we like to, right? Because we want people to see and hear us in action and to do the work of the people before the people. So I think we'll continue on because we'll have it fully captured on YouTube.
Yeah, so I can assure you the full, however many hour-long video will be on YouTube tomorrow at some point during the day when they post it.
Well said, Benjamin.
That wasn't a dig, that was just, the full video will be on YouTube,
Didn't sound like one.
and it will re-air on Channel 13 as soon as Channel 13 is back.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies for the interruption.
Appreciate that. We do try our best to reach our constituents. Any further questions on the Math 1, the integrated Math 1 and 2? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek. Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Kelly Piasek.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Greg?
Our one discussion information item was our procedural compliance self-assessment. The Reading Drives Achievement Procedural Compliance Self-Assessment is one part of the Department of Public Instruction's monitoring activities under state and federal special education laws. The goals of the self-assessment are to ensure compliance with selected legal requirements and to improve outcomes for students with disabilities, specifically in the area of reading. All Wisconsin school districts are on a 5-year cycle for the PCSA audit. Waukesha's last audit was in the 2014-2015 school year. The pandemic year caused a shift, and Waukesha's turn is now during the 2021-2022 school year. Patty Havel, Director of Special Education, and Jason Gahan, Director of Secondary Special Education, highlighted the timelines for completion of the process that will be utilized, who will be involved in the project, and what the district will do with the findings. And any discussion, questions, comments?
Okay, Greg.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the Teaching and Learning Committee report for this evening. Our next meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 1st, 2021 at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Greg. Moving on to the Government Relations Committee, given by Ms. Franchek.
Government relations?
It's your,
Okay, we have not met yet. I just was assigned, so we are going to try to get together and figure out a day that will work best for us.
Fair enough.
And then I'll let you know as soon as I know.
yeah, it is a little quirky as we're transitioning. Yep, I get it. But I will turn it over to you for Safety and Security Committee report.
That I know. Thank you, Mr. President. The Safety and Security Committee met on April 19th, 2021. There were 5 information items on the agenda. Workers' Compensation Report Update. Kevin Miller with M3 Insurance presented the District Workers' Compensation Report. The District Workers' Compensation Experience Modification Factor is 0.98. The industry average in Wisconsin is 1.0. An internal safety committee will convene quarterly to review claims and work with M3 in an effort to keep the experience modification factor in check. Next was cybersecurity update. Kevin Miller spoke to the committee about cybersecurity. School districts in Wisconsin are targets for email phishing and ransomware attacks, with 90% of ransomware attacks being initiated through phishing emails. To address this issue, staff is being trained on how to identify email phishing through the Know Before platform, and you all probably got an email about that. In addition, we are teaching our students about cybersecurity, digital footprint, and social media, etc. Next, DPI summary of revisions to CDC, DHS, DPI guidance for schools. Joe Cook summarized the revised guidance dated April 19, 2021, which recommends 3-foot distancing where mask use is universal. Next, we have an air quality study. Kyle McCarthy, maintenance manager, and Joe Hines, HVAC tech, shared radon testing results. Radon testing was conducted by Environmental Management Consulting, which is EMC. 3 of the 24 sites tested had small areas of concern. Hadfield, Randall, and Lindholm had areas that needed improvements, none of which were in classrooms. Ventilation fixes have been implemented, and now School District of Waukesha buildings have no radon above recommended levels. And last, COVID mitigation strategies. Dr. Cook reviewed the mitigation strategies implemented this school year to safely keep kids in school, including temperature screenings, masks, close contact quarantines, cleaning and disinfecting, and the use of plexiglass barriers. And I just wanted to add thank you, Dr. Cook, and all of your cabinet. Thank you for all of your hard work on that this year. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
And these are potentially discussion items. I didn't want to interrupt you as you were going through them pretty well. Does anyone have any questions or discussion on any of these items? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Reincheck. Moving on to Human Resources and Compensation Committee, given by Ms. Roddy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The committee has 2 action items for the board tonight. Number 1 is the approval of base wages for teachers for 2021-2022. The administration recommends approval of an increase of 1.23% over the 2020-2021 base wage, the maximum allowed per state statute. This results in an effective rate increase of 0.81% per cell on the 2021-22 teacher salary schedule. The 2021, there's a lot of 20s, 2021-22 agreement between the EAW and the SDW was negotiated on April 8th of 2021, where the tentative agreement was reached. The EAW has since ratified the agreement with an approval of 83.7% approval. Mr. President, I move to approve the tentative base wage agreement between the Education Association of Waukesha and the School District of Waukesha, which calls for a CPI base wage adjustment, the maximum allowed under the state of Wisconsin statute, of 1.23% over the 2020-2021 base wage, which will result in an effective rate increase of 0.81% per cell on the teacher salary schedule.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McCaffrey. Discussion? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Sue? Amanda?
Thank you, yes. The next action item is the approval of the supplemental wages for teachers for the 2021-2022 year. The administration recommends approval of the supplemental salary increase for the 2021-22 school year for eligible teaching staff as outlined in the SDW Strategic Compensation Plan. A salary schedule is not subject to bargaining. In fact, it would be a violation of Act 10 to negotiate the schedule with the EAW. In the 2014-15 school year, the board did approve the establishment of a teacher salary schedule and annually consider steps and lane advancement. Using the salary advancement process approved in the August 2015, it is recommended that the steps and lanes be approved for the 2021-22 school year in accordance with the Strategic Compensation Plan. The estimated cost of the supplemental wages is $803,297. Mr. President, I move to approve the supplemental wage adjustment as presented in an estimated amount of $803,291. Period. Final supplemental pay will be determined using the criteria established in the School District of Waukesha Strategic Compensation Plan.
Is there a second to that? Seconded by Mr. Dietz. Discussion? Questions? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote on the supplemental wages for teachers for 2021-22.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Ms. Roddy?
Thank you. The committee had no discussion information items. We'll meet next on June 9th, 6:15, in the room across the hall.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to policy, given by Mr. Baumgart.
You see, the real trick in this is when you have a meeting that's 4.5 hours long, you should have a really big item here. I only got one thing. Okay, one policy, one action item, policy 6605. This policy was approved by the policy committee last month and needs approval by the full board. A summary of the revisions to this policy is listed in the board docs. I'm sure you all read that. The policy is revised to incorporate more precise definitions and to provide additional safeguards against abuse or fraud in the use of crowdfunding mechanisms related to the district programs or other interests. And I move for approval of this policy's amendments.
Is there a second to that? Same way, Mr. Dietz. Discussion? Dr. PIACSEK?
I have a question, I think probably for Mr. Clark. If something is purchased with crowdfunding, what is our capital limit where depreciation gets applied? Do we have a certain amount?
We depreciate at $5,000.
Okay. So my question is, if something's purchased with crowdfunded dollars that weren't budgeted by the district, are we incurring a cost of depreciation if we assume ownership of that item?
No, no. Depreciation is part of our financial statements, But in governmental accounting, depreciation really doesn't play a role. It's kind of a weird thing. We have to track it and everything, but the one thing we do run into oftentimes with crowdfunding, though, in terms of those dollars being used, is who owns that property at that point. And I always say, people want a tax write-off back when you could itemize. It's ours because you've donated it to us, but oftentimes there's a conflict because people, sometimes it's the teacher's parent, or we run into that more, but there's no true cost in the depreciation except for in our financial statements. That help?
Other questions, discussion? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote on revisions to policy number 6605, crowdfunding.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Bill?
That was the only program or action item I have this evening. No discussion. The next policy committee meeting is scheduled for next week on May 18th, 2021. We will be meeting at 6 o'clock. We're trying to calculate or come up with the best time we can have for the summer. We're moving ahead with 6 o'clock, and we'll determine later if that's changed.
Okay, fair enough. You're working obviously with your committee members on that? Okay. Okay, thank you. We do not have a technology committee report this evening. So moving on to other business, recommendations for future board or committee actions or discussion items. Yes, Ms. Reinacek.
Thank you. I would like to revisit some of our policies regarding the dress code, and specifically smaller shorts or shorter skirts or that type of thing. I just feel that the comments that I'm receiving are that we're not following our policies. So can we revisit those?
Can.
Can-
We'll bring that up for discussion next week and decide if we could take it into something else.
Thank you.
Let's just say it's not the first time this board has spoken on that topic, so, yes.
Yeah, as it gets
Yes.
warmer out, I think things tend to get shorter.
Bill?
I don't,
Things get shorter, did you say?
Fair enough.
Close.
Any other topics? Okay, we do have a need for closed session. We need it for item, do we need C? Do we need C? Oh,
We have non-teaching staff pay
That's-
adjustments also on the agenda, so. we have
That's D.
Oh, I'm sorry. C is.
No, C is property. You want D.
yeah, that's why I was turning to Darren. So we only have the need for item D. So I would be looking to a motion.
And that's if there's a need to go into close. We've agendized it to give the board the option.
Do we need
Well,
to?
I'm all ears if someone wants to move into closed session. We don't have to. We can just go right into open session on this one. We just want to give people the option to go into closed session. Does that make sense? Okay.
We don't have that.
So we don't have to reconvene into it. We're convened.
Right.
So we will move on to item 12, which is compensation for our hourly employees, non-unit employees, and administrators. Sharon, do you want to frame this for us?
Yeah, I'll step in here. This is all, normally we do the teaching and group to lead, and then we follow, but we brought forth all the non-teaching staff wage adjustments for the 21-22 school year, except for cabinet positions. So mid-management, for those of you who are new to the district, would be your principals and those types of, people who hold administrative contracts, but not cabinet level. Non-unit managers are psychologists, my accounting staff, used to be, people you'd say professional staff, but I never like that definition because I don't think that's the intent. So give you some idea of what those bottom two groups are. And then the three top groups, the clerical, educational assistants, and custodial maintenance are our hourly staff. So I don't know if you want me to walk through each one or I'll just do a brief summary. The clerical and educational staff, we would be looking at an average increase of 3.27%. Those two groups over the past few years, and on the second page of that packet is historical settlements that we've had, if you want to take a peek for the hourlies. Custodial maintenance is an average of 2.76% increase, and then mid-management is 2.35, and non-unit managers are 2.35. In the far right, I have the number of FTE that are in each of those groups, just to give you an idea. The educational aides, keep in mind, those are full-time equivalents. So we have a lot of part-time staff there, so it's more bodies than 188, but to measure them in an equal amount. The hourly staff, just to give you an idea how we've been focusing for the last several years, clerical and educational assistants have been averaging around 3.25% average increases, while the buildings and grounds custodial crew has been averaging 2.14%. Those groups make different dollars, so sometimes the percentages are a little, not misleading, but don't tell the entire story. And then I've included just a summary of the costings, the wage scales, if you want to review them. I can answer any other questions you might have related to this recommendation. All these are within, will allow us to balance the budget as we supplied the plan to FNF on Monday night.
Questions, discussion? Dr. PIACSEK?
First, I just appreciate you doing this. It's not an easy exercise, so thank you for working out these numbers. Just a question about timing, if there's ever market assessment, for example, for aides or other non
for all the groups, and actually Sharon's office takes care of that. The business side officials do some of it too, but really it's an HR function. We do comparables to other school districts, primarily in Waukesha County, or our conference roughly. But we don't do them every year. Usually I hear about what raises are being given, and then I can just add to the last survey information mentally and target. But we do try for all positions to keep an idea of where we are in the field. And we do adjust. The example I'd give is second shift custodians. We have a grandfathered column of staff around Act 10 that their wages were nearly frozen. But then we had a new column for second shift custodians, and it was so low we weren't even getting applicants. So the market kind of told us, we had to react to that, and then we targeted them over a couple of settlements to raise their rate. So we do try to keep an eye on where we fall.
Just to give you a little bit of a historical perspective, pre-Act 10, custodians were paid super well in this district. We worked a number of years to kind of bring that down more in check with other districts. And then we found that we needed to make another adjustment because we weren't able to hire the people that we wanted to. We actually not only compared to other school districts, we went out and we took a look at what was the county doing for that type of position and what was the city doing, and we came up with our plan from there. When did we do that? A couple of years ago? Roughly 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, I'd say 3 years ago we started that process.
And so from a hiring perspective, the full-times we're still able to hire effectively, but it's the part-time positions that we're having real trouble with right now.
We've been working with HR to eliminate several part-time positions and merge them into one or two full-time, just because you can't even get applicants. I mean, our victories are measured in people showing up for an interview, much less being the ideal candidate. So it's just a weird, and we're not alone in that, obviously. It's just a weird job market right now.
Any other questions, comments? Motions. Mr. McCaffrey?
I move to approve the compensation for hourly employees, non-unit employees, and administrators as presented.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Roddy. Discussion? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Kelly PIACSEK.
Aye.
Corey Montiel.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Anthony Zenobia.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Well, thank you, everybody, for your dedicated attention to all the business that we had this evening. We do stand adjourned.